that the penal tariffs will not be there beyond that decade. There will be a resolution in the next couple of months on the penal tariff. Now, this is where I think all of us are worried about, and I will take some time to talk about the tariff here. Yes, the not only the original reciprocal tariff of 25% plus the penal tariff of 25%, both were not anticipated. I still believe that geopolitical circumstances may have led to the second 25% tariff, but considering recent developments in the last couple of weeks and so on, I do believe, I have no particular basis to say so, I just my intuition that the penal tariff will not be there beyond that decade. I mean, it's not a statement of based on any concrete indicator or evidence. It's my hope that given the recent development which we see in terms of both countries finding off ramp and reaching out to each other, including the important negotiator we in the first 2 days of this week, I do believe that there will be a resolution in the next couple of months on the penal tariff and hopefully on the reciprocal tariff also. So whatever impact that is there because of the affected sectors, which by the way is 35% of overall exports to the US, and in the first 5 months of the current financial year, we had already exported half the amount we exported last year to the US, etc. Keeping all those things in mind, we hope that the impact will be limited to the current financial year. If, of course, if it continues into the next financial year, there will be an impact on growth, but it's hard to quantify these things because it is not just the actual export loss, which is very easy to calculate. It's a very small sum. But naturally, it will have implications for sentiment, investments, employment in those industries, and therefore consumption, etc. This is very difficult to quantify and it will be very imprecise. But nonetheless, our hope is that our exports have been growing quite well. We are taking services and goods. We are now exporting close to $850 billion a year, and we are on top. We are on track to reach $1 trillion of exports. And an economy of the size of $4 trillion, it has 25% of GDP, which is a very healthy number. We are not a closed economy. We are an open economy in that sense. We will not be as open as small economies, but given that we have a large one, 25% in terms of export, and if you include imports, it is close to 48% or 50% of GDP. And even if we exclude petroleum, crude oil imports and petroleum product exports, it is close to 35% of GDP between imports and exports. So we are an open economy, and therefore what happens in the external sector will have spillover effects. And that's both good and bad. So, but even without tariffs, even without the tariffs, our export growth performance will now have to work doubly harder compared to, let's say, between 2003 and 2008, because global growth is going to be a challenge. So that is where we have to work hard in terms of innovation, in terms of reaching new geographies, in terms of investing in R&D for the long term. So the rising tide of global demand, which lifted all boats in the first decade of the new millennium, will not be there. The tide will not be rising. Therefore, we have to create the momentum.